Let's talk about something we've probably all been through, romantic rejection. It's this universal experience, and man, it can be painful, no matter which side you're on. But have you ever stopped to wonder, with so many people in the world, why does that one rejection cut so deep? Well, in this explainer, we're gonna get into the psychology behind that sting.
So that's the big question, right? Why does it feel so devastating? The answer, it turns out, really gets to the core of what makes us human. That fundamental need we all have to connect with each other and to feel like we belong.
And make no mistake, that pain is intensely real. This quote right here just drives it home. The emotional toll can be absolutely massive, whether we're talking about the end of a whole relationship or just one painful moment within it.
Okay, so let's get right into the heart of it, that sting of rejection. Now, the main idea here is a little bit, well, it's not what you'd expect. The real source of the pain might not be what you think at all. This is the absolute key. The deepest, most gut-wrenching part of rejection isn't just about losing that one person. It's about the story we start telling ourselves afterwards. The story that says the rejection means we're flawed, we're not good enough, maybe we're just unworthy of love. It's a direct hit to our self-worth.
So, to really understand how rejection attacks our self-worth, we can actually break it down. Think of it like an anatomy of heartbreak. There are 3 key dimensions, and this framework really helps explain why some rejections hurt way more than others.
So here they are, the 3 dimensions. First up, you've got the delivery. Basically, how it's communicated. Is it straight up or is it indirect? Then there's the scope. What's actually being rejected? Is it the entire relationship or just a specific request, And finally, the tone, the feeling behind the words. Is it warm and caring or is it cold and dismissive? Each one of these completely changes how that rejection lands.
All right, let's start with that first one, delivery, and talk about what has become the most infamous kind of indirect rejection today, ghosting. Yeah, we're going there.
And you can really see the trade-off here. On the one hand, you have direct rejection. Yeah, it can be super confrontational and awkward, but at least it gives you clarity. It gives you closure. Then on the other hand, you have indirect rejection, like ghosting. The person doing it gets to avoid all that discomfort, but it leaves the other person just hanging, totally confused, hurt, and with 0 answers. So why do people actually do it? Well, a lot of the time, it's pretty simple. They just want to avoid a tough conversation. And yeah, that can point to some emotional immaturity. But, and this is really important to remember, it's not always malicious. The research is clear that sometimes, especially for women, it's used as a safety strategy. Now get this, here's a really surprising finding from a recent study. Even though being ghosted feels incredibly cold and callous, the research suggests that the person doing the ghosting often cares more than you think. They might actually believe they're choosing the path of least harm, even if it never ever feels that way on the receiving end. But rejection isn't always a final breakup, right? What about the no's that happen within a continuing relationship? This brings us to that second dimension we talked about, the scope of the rejection.
Sexual rejection is a perfect example. It is so easy to hear "not tonight" and internalize it as "I don't want you." That's the harmful view, right? It just creates those feelings of inferiority. But the healthier way to see it, the view on the right, is to understand it's just a temporary mismatch. It's not a rejection of you as a person, it's just acknowledging that you're both in different moods or have different needs at that exact moment.
And this is where that third dimension, tone, becomes absolutely crucial. Research shows that how you say no matters so much more than the no itself. A rejection that's warm and kind and reassuring, saying something like, "I'm just not in the mood tonight, but I love you," that can prevent hurt feelings and can actually even make the relationship stronger. So all of this leads to a really powerful idea. What if we could learn how to reject others better in a way that minimizes the harm and, preserves dignity for absolutely everyone involved? It's this concept called polite rejection. And no, this isn't about being phony or dishonest. It's about being clear that the reason for the rejection is incompatibility. They're just not a good match, not because there's something wrong with the other person. The whole goal is to avoid triggering that deep-seated feeling of inferiority that we talked about at the very beginning.
I know. We have all heard these phrases, and yes, they can totally sound like cliches. But when someone says them with real sincerity, they're actually trying to do exactly what we're talking about.
They're trying to frame the breakup around incompatibility, not around a personal judgment of who you are. But you know, there's another side to this coin. Learning how to receive rejection with grace? Now that is a huge sign of emotional maturity. As this quote puts it, handling rejection well is even kind of sexy. Being able to hear no without letting it completely torpedo your self-worth is an incredibly powerful personal trait to have.
So, if you walk away with just one thing from all this, let it be this. A relationship not working out is not a final verdict on your value as a human being. Incompatibility is just a fact of life. It is not a personal failure. And that leaves us with a really important question to think about. If we truly, deeply believe that incompatibility isn't failure, how does that change the way we communicate? How can we start ending relationships not with blame or shame, but with the dignity and respect that everyone involved truly deserves?